We are now live. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining this call, either live or if you're watching it recorded. My name is Lucy Harris, and I lead the community development team at Mozilla. And I'm really, really excited to be able to have this call and introduce you all to, oh, I've got a weird echo. Oh, can anyone else hear my voice?
Yes, we can hear you.
Oh, I see. In my other browser, it was playing my own recording. It was very disturbing. Okay, sorry, I'm back. So today we're going to be introducing you to Haiyya, which is a consulting group based in India who's going to be helping provide support to the Indian community. Before we dive in, I want to just share a little bit of the background. So as many of you know, Subhashish was the Asia Community Manager for about 6 months here at Mozilla, and as he moved on, we realized that we still wanted to be able to provide a whole bunch of support to the amazing people in the India community. And we're trying to figure out how best to do that. And hopefully some of you remember Haiyya from a couple months ago, maybe even as far as a year ago now, that they last worked with us. And we've been really, really happy about that engagement and thought that they would have a lot to offer coming back to bridge the community support gap. So with that knowledge that we wanted to use Haiyya, we then got together a group of about 20 community leaders from India to start talking about what that scope of work would be and what the engagement could look like to provide the support that you guys want and need. And so hopefully you've all had a chance to read the discourse post. I'll go through it really briefly here, but please take a look and read the whole thing. A lot of work went into it from a lot of people. So Haiyya's role will be a resource for the community, and specifically for people who want their involvement and their support. So I'll start off by saying that this is not going to be a mandatory thing for anyone. Everyone will have the opportunity to take advantage of the resources of Haiyya's experience and knowledge. Awesome. When and if they want it. So the 3 focus areas for Haiyya is going to be first on the provisional meta team, getting it up and running and moving it to the permanent meta team state. So Sukhmani, who you'll all meet soon, is going to be working closely with the meta team for that. Also supporting, the second piece will be supporting functional teams, focus areas, and sub-India communities who request help. So finding those teams that are working on big projects and are looking for some additional support and helping them build roadmaps and achieve their goals. The third is going to be a support function for the community as a whole, so that's effective communication channels and creating nice opportunities for everyone to come together online and engage and connect with each other. So those are the 3 focus areas. The approach is going to be all around empowering and supporting you all to take leadership, being really transparent and working in an open way, asking for feedback, and I'm just emphasizing their expertise, and then also coming to all of you for expertise as well. And as a caveat, Haiyya is here in addition to the staff support team that is still here. You can come to Konstantina, myself, Christos are still available, and our doors are open as well. So that's a little bit of framing. I'll reiterate, please read the full discourse post. But what the call is really for is to actually have you meet the Haiyya team. So I'm going to turn it over to Aprajita to talk a little bit more about Haiyya, and then start her introduction. We'll all meet soon is going to be working closely with the meta team for that.
Hi,
also supporting
Lucy. I think I'm facing some issues. I can still hear what you have said in the past. Like it's just
finding those teams that are working.
Do you have another tab with the recording?
And helping them.
You have a YouTube tab somewhere open.
The third is going to be a support function for the community as a whole. Okay. So that's effective
I'm so sorry. I'll just sort of
creating a.
Sorry. Okay, guys. Hello, everyone. My name is Aprajita. I lead a non-profit grassroots campaigning and consulting organization, Haiyya, and we have worked with the Mozilla India community in the past. Haiyya is all about developing more youth leadership because 65% of the population in this country, and we are full of energy, creativity, skills, with a lot of ideas in place. And Haiyya's from, the whole idea was to bring youth energy and their skills together and create more organized leadership around issues that really matter to us. We have been involved with Mozilla last year as well. And one of the reasons that we really connect with Mozilla team and its vision is because it's about open web, which is primarily the mission of the organization, and also aligns very closely with the values we work internally as an organization. So we are very excited to work with you and look forward to how we can create a stronger community which really cares about the idea of open web and create projects that supports and sort of amplifies the idea of open web. So yeah, that's me, and I have my team members with me. So I will switch it on to Natasha.
Yes, I was on mute. Hello, everyone. My name is Natasha, and I work with Christos on the Campus Club team. Campus Club, as you know, is a program that's working with university students to contribute to open source. And most of my work is to ensure that we have a good amount of community support to ensure that we have a successful program that's running and the community is able to achieve the most out of it. So a lot of my work is, working on the existing systems, but also to see what are the gaps and what are the different things we can do to make this experience even more richer by introducing new systems. And I think that's the expertise I'm bringing in, like the fresh perspective and any new ideas that we can add to the program. Also, I will also be working very closely with Mrinalini, and she will tell you about her work in a few minutes, but working very closely on the strategy piece, because whatever we understand from the current program, we'll ensure that those inputs are being integrated into making that program even more effective for other communities. So that's going to be my role. I just wanted to also share that all the work that we do is open and available for everyone to view on GitHub. So you can check it on the repository. Yeah, I think that's it about me. I'll pass it on to Mrinalini.
And just before Mrinalini, you go, I just wanted to remind people that if you have questions, there's a couple different ways at any point you can ask them. So the first is in the YouTube live chat. You can just put it on the right-hand side in the chat and we'll answer it. Also, there's an Etherpad, which I'm sharing in the YouTube chat, so it's everywhere, where you can ask questions as well. Okay, back to Mrinalini.
Thanks, Lucy, and thanks, Natasha. Also, I'm sorry about my voice. I'm having a bit of a sore throat. But yeah, my name is Mrinalini, and I will be working on the research aspect. Natasha mentioned about the Campus Clubs program, and that is something that has already been initiated in America, which really works on creating campus clubs in university spaces to work on open source internet. And we're looking to create the same thing for India. So right now, we're at the stage where we will be doing research and talking to different people in colleges, trying to figure out what is it that excites them, what is it that they'll want to be a part of, and how can we really frame and make the campus clubs the best community that it can be. And I will, of course, be working closely with Natasha as well, using whatever learnings, what is coming out of the America campus clubs, and how we can put that into the India context as well. While we're doing the research, we might reach out to the community to maybe connect us to other college students or any other resources that you may have. So that's basically my work, and I'll pass it on to Sukhmani now.
Hi everyone, I am Sukhmani, and I've been working with Haiyya for the last 3 years since its inception with the core team. I have met a couple of you during the last 2 engagements that we have had with Mozilla. While working with Haiyya, I have been involved in leading multiple projects and worked across different types of communities. At Mozilla, I'll be working very closely with Lucy on the Indian community piece, and the broader idea is to, there are a lot of great ideas that are coming from Indian community teams, and to make the entire team more functional and bring it to a level of excellence and execute the ideas that are coming in and provide that space and an enough support system for all the ideas to come and collate. So we want to facilitate the process and support the community and all the bunch of ideas that are coming in and bring in our community expertise to the field. So I'll be working very closely with UC and the community development team, and we'll basically be working remotely through meetings, calls, but try to have that space developed for the community. And as Lucy mentioned about, there are broadly 3 different pieces to it. So we want to work with provisional meta team and make it towards more permanent nature and identify and fill in more gaps and give it as much as support. Also, we want to work with the functional teams and on the various projects and various ideas that they have to execute them. And while doing all of this, we want to create like a big learning space and interactive space and different mechanisms and open communication channels where everyone can come together. And there are like central keys to it. And yeah, so that's mostly about it. And while all this work is happening, I just want to share the work is going to be really transparent, and the broader roadmaps and goals will be shared with you on the blog and GitHub. I'll be available through various communication channels like on emails and on Telegram, and if there are other places I can be available at, so please, you can definitely let me know. And the Indian community work would be starting real soon. So there are a bunch of things on our list that we would be executing. So I will be reaching out soon to the meta team and the functional teams and other people along with the Indian community development team, and to start identifying and listing of initial projects and people. So all this is going to start real soon, and I'm really excited to start working with you people on that.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And I see a couple of questions that I'll bring up in a second. And I wanted to remind everyone that the entire Haiyya's team Telegram handles are available on the discourse post. So dive in there and then you can say hi or ask your questions if you're thinking of things later to any of the Haiyya team members. Okay. So the first question is the inevitable one about the website issues, which I'm just going to go ahead and field for y'all. Haiyya's website, as happens when we play around on the internet, is having some difficulties. So please check out their Facebook page instead. They've got a whole bunch of really awesome content on there. And I know you're working to get that site back up, but all the information you need about Haiyya you can find on the Facebook page. You can also ask directly, which is even better than having to go and read someone else's website. So the next question is about how you're working with volunteers. So definitely a big difference between working with volunteers and employees, especially when the volunteer doesn't agree with an approach. So I will field this to Sukhmani and Aprajita about how do you plan to work with the volunteers, and I'll interpret the question a little bit. How do you plan on working with volunteers specifically when there's a disagreement about how to move forward?
Sukhmani, do you want to respond to that?
Yeah, I can take that. Yeah, so we have been working with a lot of volunteers in our work because majorly our work is community and volunteer driven. And so it has been happening that there has been a lot of times that disagreements are there. And all these challenges are real challenges. And I acknowledge that exist in every kind of community and even the communities that we have worked with. But broadly, if we talk about, there is always a bigger self-interest and motivation that drives the volunteer, and the values which brings them on board is the mainstay. So a lot of the kind of methodology we use is about bringing them on board on the basis of their values, interests, and commitments. And there are broad norms which allows a community to function and has a scope of disagreement. But having cohesive norms always helps us to overcome these kind of challenges which are always there. So there are tangible things that we do, like community meetings and calls, spaces for feedback and constant interactions, and overall norms for the group that help bringing these disagreements to like there is moving them towards a possible solution. And these are some of the approaches that we have successfully used in the past. Prajita, would you want to add up to that?
Yeah, I think disagreements are part of any healthy community as well, because there should be difference in opinions and different perspectives. I think one of the areas is that when we have worked with volunteers, it's always disagreements that exist within the community. So the best you can surface it out and let two agreements sort of either talk to each other or bring two parties on board together to talk and interact with each other, because most often we are not, if you work with a community, we are not the one who are coming up with ideas. Like community comes up with ideas, and then there are disagreements that certain people think this is a good idea, certain people think that's a bad idea. So I think it's very important. I will just build on to what Sukhmani has said, like +1 to that it's important for those two agreements to come forward. And and sometimes, it's also when as the relationship develops, people get to know why certain people are saying those things. What is the work that they are doing? What is the value that they carry? I think it also with the relationship that it sort of is, projects get or communities get in a better place. And we are here. Our work is very relationship based. So that's the premise that we operate in.
Finding my unmute button. Thank you. That was super helpful. We have another question in the Etherpad, and please keep adding your questions, which is around working with tech communities. So you've less experience working with technical communities. How do you plan on working with technical volunteers? I think this is another Sukhmani one.
I can take it. Yeah. I see like two parts to this question. One is that because we don't come from a tech background, I feel like that's quite understood. Our background is community development, and I think that is the gap, and that is the support that we're extending to the Mozilla community. So it is a good fit because we have experience of working with volunteers and like with bigger teams. So I think there is that angle to it, and another angle on like if tech communities are completely different in the way that they function. I think that question is sort of answered in the first in the question that Prajita and Sukhmani were just talking about. That as you work more with communities, you understand them better, as well as building systems around that and building norms that help both communities come on the same page. And yeah, like if Lucy, if I'm missing something, you can just point that out.
Yeah, I will just add to that would be like, I think each of the project, like we have had like a new experience whenever we have taken up a project. Either it's a project on electoral campaigning or environment. We were never like issue experts on all those subjects, but when you interact with the community and when you work with them, you get to learn so much, and then your methodology evolves, the way you work with them evolves. So I think we are very, very open to we embrace the fact that we are not tech people, we are community development experts, and we can only do it with you. Like we cannot do it without you. So the reason that we are here is because we need technical expertise from you, and only then we can evolve. Otherwise our community development expertise will be in vacuum, which is not helpful.
Yeah, and I'll just add on to it that just looking across the participation team, the community development team, there's a whole hodgepodge of people with technical backgrounds and non-technical backgrounds who are bringing kind of the community development perspective. And as I said in the beginning, I want to highlight that just because Haiyya is here as a community development resource doesn't mean they're your only resource. Still, any of the groups you would have talked to previously, any of the people, any of the staff who are bringing other elements to your success, you should still be using them. So I think thinking of Haiyya as they've got community development expertise, and that's how you should engage with them. It won't be like a one size fits all, and there's still going to be lots of different resources that are going to be able to provide different parts. Awesome. Do you have a plan if the Mozilla community does not respond positively to you? So this is getting a little bit into the kind of managing conflict. And I'll add to this before we get into it that Haiyya is a resource. And so if you don't feel like you need that support, if you're like, I got this community development stuff down, there's no, you don't have to use Haiyya, reach out to Haiyya and say, hey, I'd love some extra support on this. This is like a bonus thing. But I'll also turn that over to Sukhmani if you want to add anything to kind of dealing with if there's negative reactions.
Yeah, thank you, Lucy. I think plus one to what Lucy said, and I just want to build up on that. Like we are as a resource to facilitate a process, facilitate a thing that you want to achieve or accomplish. And there are other resources that you have. Staff is there, and a bunch of other teams are there. We are one of the people present in the space, but not your entire universe to it. So our idea is, and what we want to do is to connect you also to the right resources. And if there is something that we can expedite or we can provide you that space, we're happy to. And on the other side, if there is someone who would need our support, we are open to. So we would, so ideally we would reach out to different teams and everything. But in case you don't need the support, there is no push or pressure on that. It's like a very, very optional thing. And if you are the one who would need it, then we would be there definitely to facilitate the entire process and bring in a lot of ideas on table and help you in that. Could be running a project, or could be running an event, or like organizing a online hangout, or doing any fun and cool event. So we would be right there to support in different capacities. But in case you don't need that support, that's entirely going to be your choice. So yeah. Is there anything else you want to add, Lucy, to it?
No, that sounds great. I just saw that we have Parathamesh on the call, which is awesome. Possibly jumping in with a question. Parathamesh, do you have a question to share? Parathamesh, can you hear us?
Hey guys, what's up?
Hey.
Yeah, I'm extremely sorry. I was in middle of some escalation back in office, and so couldn't join the call earlier. But yeah, I was just going through the recording. Yes.
Awesome. Well, feel free to jump in if you have any questions.
Okay. So the thing is, I would be checking with the Etherpad, and if I have any questions, I can directly contact the Haiyya team, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Awesome.
I'm staying muting. That's it.
Not a problem. All right, let's take a look at the next question. So Mozilla India is a big community. You're based in Delhi. How will you take care of such a vast community if sub-community level help is needed?
I will take that up. Yeah. So, rightly said, I'm based out of Delhi, and the community is spread across India, and also the Mozilla team is spread across globally. So, until now, global team has been offering remote support through different ways, and there have been like be it through calls or online meetings and hangouts, through discourse, through GitHub and Telegram. So, technology is bridging in all the gaps these days, and likewise, that's going to be our definitely all these ways are going to be the ways in which I'm going to be available and engaged. And then depending on any kind of local availability that is to be, we need to make sure that we need to be available. So that is something we following some sort of a structured approach about which Lucy will talk about in detail. And accordingly, we'll try to, as far as within what is our scope of work, to be available at a more local level. But in terms of availability as a resource, we are definitely there to all the channels, like how the global team is available. Lucy, do you want to add to that?
No, I think that sounds like a good answer. And I mean, it's definitely remote, as is all of the stuff we do at Mozilla. So there's challenges there, but actually being in India with fewer time zone challenges, I think is going to be a huge advantage to times in the past or other communities that we support, which is done like South America from Europe and stuff, which is very challenging. Awesome. Next question. Are you well versed with the current Mozilla projects and the direction Mozilla is moving in? To provide community support, you might want to study some history and present situation of volunteers in Mozilla. So I'm going to turn that into a little bit of a question. So like, what is your approach for becoming well versed in Mozilla's current Mozilla projects and the direction Mozilla is moving in?
I can take up that question. Yeah, so I think we started the conversation again with Lucy and George, I think good about like 3 weeks back, and since then we have tried every day to read up more around what has happened in the past, what are the new projects that are coming up, who are the team members involved, which is the recent campaign, the Rust campaign, WebVR, everything that's going on. So we are trying to read up every day. And we are very conscious of the fact that we will not be able to offer support unless we really know what the community is doing. So our plan is to keep reading, keep talking to people who know, community in and out, keep interacting with leaders who definitely know more than us. Keep talking to people who have ideated things and who are running things, because that's where we lack and we will need to fill that gap. So we are very, very conscious and very, very quick about those things, because we also know that we can't wait for a month to read and learn and then offer support. Everything will go, hand in hand. So it's a job in hand, something that we are doing as we go.
Awesome, thank you. Looks like we're getting to the end of the questions in the Etherpad. We need to check again, see if there's some new ones. Please keep adding your questions, and you can also add them to the chat on YouTube. So a lot of questions have been brought up around the kind of additional community supports that aren't technical, that aren't specifically to community development. And I was gonna actually put Constantina on the spot here for a second to talk about the other supports that are available to the communities right now through the REPS program and stuff that other people might not be as familiar about.
Sorry, I was trying to unmute myself. Yeah, sure. So as probably most of the people in the Indian community know, we also already have the REPS program. The REPS program is a mobilizers program that is we like to describe it with Lucy. Lucy came with a new word saying it's the glue between the communities and Mozilla Corporation. So reps are people who are highly trained and have the resources to inform on what is happening on reps, expand the community, building bridges. So reps are always there for you. Like they have the resources, they are all under NDA, they know what is happening on Mozilla, and they also have the resources on building communities, having events, business network that you want to reach. This can happen also via reps, and also connect you with different programs across Mozilla. There is also regional coaches. Regional coaches, I don't know if Frank of the call, but regional coaches is the program of trained community leaders across the globe that are there to fill the gap again between it's an expansion of the participation team, and because we really know that the participation team cannot be anywhere and everywhere. So in case of conflict resolution, in case of needing advice on personal level, there are also the regional coaches. I don't know if we should mention everything else. And of course, there is always the participation team. Like, we're not going anywhere. Like Lucy, Crystal, Sai, Ruben, the people that you already know, Kiki, are here to give you almost 24/7 support and help you whatever you need. Haiyya is coming as an extra resource because we know how important India is, but we're staying here to help you out.
Thank you so much, Constantina. All right, looking in the Etherpad, there's another question about the website, about when it's coming back live. There's already an answer in there. I don't know if you want to verbalize. Seems there are a lot of questions about the
Yes. Yes,
website.
I expected this because we're really sorry it happened at this moment. Yeah, so the website is live. Sometimes it just like sort of goes, because the developer is working on it. So sometimes it might just come across as it's, the work under progress, so it's not live. But we are fixing this issue, and it should be live in a few days. We will send you the updated link. And meanwhile, if we also agree that you might want to look at the big picture of what we do and other work that we have done in the past. So what would be helpful, that in our blog post, we will share all our recent newsletters, because it sort of has everything that we have done in the past 2 years. So we will share links of those newsletters with you. Meanwhile, our website is getting fixed. And thank you so much for tweeting us and sort of telling us on Telegram that something like this has happened, because we were totally unaware of it. It was hacked.
The flip side of the internet. Brings us so much. And then sometimes it hacks you.
Agree.
Awesome. Checking for other questions. It looks like we're caught up.
Hey, sorry, I was a bit late. Lucy, can I talk?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so we are having this Reign of Rust campaign, which is going live from 1st of June. That is tomorrow. And we need a widespread support in terms of social engagement, as well as engaging a lot of broader audience. So is there anything Haiyya can help us with at the moment?
Cool. I will fuel that a little bit, just because Haiyya is ramping up right now, and so they're going to start reaching out to functional teams and the meta team. But the Reign of Rust is a really great project. I know that Constantina's been helping a lot on that, so I think it's definitely something that we can connect Sukhmani with and start getting her caught up, and then figuring out what kinds of support can be offered and how she can best contribute to that as one of the functional team projects. That makes sense. So it's not going to happen instantaneously, but definitely starting to loop Sukhmani into that project, because it's a great thing.
Okay, cool, thanks.
Awesome. No new questions. So does anyone else want to add anything? I know we've got George on the call, so maybe I'll point to him for a second to see if he wants to add anything while we've got him here.
I had nothing specific to, nothing general to add. A specific thing sort of that I typed in the Etherpad, which I'll just bring up because I think it's valuable to highlight. I think one of the things that many of you I think have seen over the past couple of years as we've started to build this team, formerly known as the participation team, now known as the open innovation team, is that one of the changes in approach that we've taken to volunteers and communities in Mozilla has been to augment the very typical open source approach of, whoever shows up, whenever they show up, they contribute, and then kind of they go away, and this ability to flow in and out, which I think is an important aspect of open source. We've started to augment that with also having, which was also in place in parts of Mozilla, this notion of commitments and responsibility and project plans and those types of things. And I think that in particular last year, a lot of what we asked Haiyya to engage with was to bring some more of their experience in really helping volunteers on that kind of second type of work, and helping communities in that second type of, setting commitments and responsibilities and whatnot. And I think that's new in some parts of Mozilla's communities, and is certainly different than traditional open source communities. And so I'll say it out loud, I fully recognize and I'll take responsibility for really pushing that into some of our work in the past couple of years. And it's something that others, Konstantina and Lucy and Ruben and other staff members have certainly reinforced. It's also something that we've asked Haiyya to do. And so, to the extent that that feels pushy and that feels grating, well, we kind of know, like we sort of want it to be, because we're testing out something new there. And so I just wanted to say that out loud, because I think that it's an important point. And it's not saying that we're leaving behind any of the traditional open source ways of moving in and out of a project based on time. What we're trying to do is really augment that with a little bit more of a structured and longer term horizon on some of the engagement. So anyway, for what it's worth, I'll say that. But that's it. It's super exciting to see the level of engagement from the Mozilla India community, as always. And I think we started some really important work last year, and the Mozilla India community started some really important work on rethinking how it would work last year. And I'm excited that we can finally do a good job of putting the resources behind supporting you appropriately, which is what I think we're doing here with Engaging Haiyya. Anyway, that was a little bit more, I guess, Lucy, than you wanted or counted on, but
No,
I'm never
awesome.
known for being short-winded.
I knew what I was getting into. There's a question in the chat about how we identified the India community leaders who we talked to about the Haiyya SOW. So I'll address this briefly. So Konstantina, George, and I put together a list of 35 names of people who we saw as active people in the community. We looked at all of the active reps. We looked at the teams who had worked with Haiyya in the past, so the content team. We looked at the current meta team members. Someone mentioned the meta team isn't active, which we are aware of, and that's part of kind of what we're hoping Haiyya will help with, is to engage the current meta team and figure out what needs to be done to help it become the active, thriving, permanent meta team that we hope it will become. And also mentors. So it was the three of us just kind of thinking about like, who are all the people who we've seen really engaged in the last little while. And we were moving quickly because we really wanted to give people an opportunity to help build this SOW and also get Haiyya engaged quickly. So our sincerest apologies if we missed someone who really wanted to be in that. I think that the SOW we have is something that a lot of people are really happy with. And moving forward, there's not going to be any isolating Haiyya, just talking to that leaders. It's anyone who who is leading anything, who wants to put their hand up and identify as a leader. Anyone who wants to engage Haiyya in any way can do that. So please don't feel restricted on that level. Awesome. And then there's another question, it's a broad question that Haiyya can ask that we can answer as an opening line while trying to talk to Haiyya members. So that's actually a great idea, especially after this call if you're reaching out on Telegram. So I'll kick that over to Haiyya. Is there a question that you would like people in the India community to approach you with an answer to? Sukhmani, Aprajita.
Sukhmani?
Sorry, Lucy, can you repeat the question? I missed you for that.
Not a problem. So is there something that you would like people who are currently in the India community to answer for you, so that when they're approaching you on Telegram, they can start by answering that question? So whether it's about someone's experience or about somewhere they think that you could add value, just a question that they can use to start a conversation with you and where you can get some more information about the community.
Yeah. Okay, that's a really good idea. So given be reachable on Telegram or email, more on the Telegram. So whenever anyone is approaching, probably they can tell a little bit about themselves, like covering like their name and what is it that they are involved in, and how long they have been involved in Mozilla. That will give me some text around it, and rest of the things I can pick up through the conversation with them. Yep. Natasha, do you want to add?
No, I think we're good. And if you guys are part of any teams, please mention that you're working in this geography with this team, or that would be very helpful.
Awesome. So I'm just going to push you to do a one-liner. Like if every person who contacted you on Telegram started with like a one line, like I know Aprajita, you mentioned like what team you're working on, what location you're in. Is there anything like, what's the one other thing you would want people to open with?
Yeah, so I think name, location, any team that they're involved with, and if there is any current active project that they are working on, then yeah, that'll be ideal.
Awesome. And apologies for the office tour. My laptop was at 1%. Awesome. That's a great question. And I really encourage everyone to reach out directly on Telegram or post in Discourse. Your other questions are to introduce yourselves. Let me jump back into the Etherpad. Oh, and Mozillian's profile. That is definitely something else that you can share. That'll be very helpful. All right, it looks like we have answered all of the questions that are currently there. Sukhmani, do you want to share kind of the next steps? You've already kind of alluded to the blog post, but what's going to happen after we leave this call?
Yeah, so definitely we're going to share the roadmaps, which broadly outlines the scope of work, different things, which will be available on the blog post. And then I would love to start reaching out to different projects. So we are in a stage where we want to list down ASAP, because definitely we are getting a hang around of things, of different kind of work and the projects that are going on, different teams which are there, but would start listing down. And the next step would be to reaching out to them. So in the coming days, we'll be organizing calls with the provisional Meta team, and then start reaching out to the provisional, the functional groups as well, and start identifying the different needs and the needs of different projects and teams. So it's like a parallel between the staff, the provisional Meta team, and the functional team leader, and as well as anyone who approaches with a one-liner on Telegram, we'll be open to reaching out to them and start talking to them.
Awesome. That sounds amazing. And we'll send a reminder about what that little, what the opening sentence is in the blog post, so if people can remember.
Yes.
That's great. Aprajita, do you want to say anything before we wrap up the call?
No, I think just that I'm very excited to begin the work. You know, it's been a long pause after the August meetup. Excited to hear your voices, excited to hear what you've been up to in the past few months. Yeah, and we have just been hearing some names about the projects that you are running and the campaigns that you're running. So fill us in with all the crazy information and ideas that you have been experimenting with. Yeah, and thank you for whoever has joined this call, and for all your questions, and for all your website tweets.
Awesome. And thank you so much for coming on the call and introducing yourselves. As they said, you can expect to hear from Sukhmani and other people from the Haiyya team over the next couple of weeks. So keep asking your questions and we're responding. And thanks everyone who watched this live or as a recording. Thanks all.
Bye guys.